Doodle collage. The doodle collage is a process that turns chaotic, small-scale doodles into a unified, patterned artwork. Process. Start by filling a page with spontaneous, small, and varied doodles. Stars, spirals, lines, simple shapes. Once the page is full and appears random, the artist then uses a thick black marker to impose structure. This is done by outlining larger shapes that encompass the smaller doodles and adding bold, deliberate lines to connect them. Goal. The primary goal is to shift from unstructured, playful scribbling to a final piece with a sense of cohesion and pattern. It encourages non-perfectionism and is a great way to warm up or overcome creative blocks by focusing on filling space rather than realistic rendering. One-line drawing, continuous line. The one-line drawing, also known as a continuous line drawing, is an exercise focused on observation, line quality, and hand-eye coordination. Process. The artist chooses an object, like a hand or a plant, and places the drawing tool on the paper. The key rule is that the pen or pencil must not be lifted from the paper until the drawing is finished. The artist is also encouraged to look mostly at the object itself rather than the paper. The hand is allowed to wander to trace the contours of the object. This technique forces intense observation of the subject's form. Because the artist isn't looking at the paper and cannot erase or lift the pen, the resulting image is often abstract, distorted, and unique, revealing the subject's essential shapes and the artist's spontaneous perception. Blackout poetry is a form of found poetry that transforms existing text into new artistic and literary work. Process. An artist selects a page of text from a book, magazine, or newspaper. Using a marker, they black out the vast majority of the words on the page, leaving only a carefully selected few scattered words visible. These remaining words must form a poem, a meaningful phrase, or a cohesive thought. The blacked-out areas are often decorated with simple patterns, designs, or images to turn the page into a visual piece as well. Goal. It's an exercise in editing, curation, and interpretation. It challenges the artist to find new meaning and a voice within someone else's writing. It combines both visual art, the design of the blacked-out areas, and literary art, the creation.
It sounds like you're looking for an explanation of 3 art techniques. Here's a breakdown of the 3 methods you described. Symmetry painting, the Rorschach technique. This technique creates a striking, symmetrical image by leveraging the principle of mirror image transfer. How it works. By placing paint on only one half of the paper and then folding it, the wet paint on the first half is pressed directly against the clean second half. The pressure forces the paint to spread and transfer, creating a design that is perfectly symmetrical along the fold line. The result? The resulting artwork is an abstract bilateral mirror image, much like a butterfly's wings. It's often called the Rorschach technique because the final piece resembles the famous ink blot tests developed by Hermann Rorschach, which are also based on symmetrical ink blots. The abstract nature encourages interpretation and imagination. Tape, resist, watercolor. This method is a form of resist art that uses the physical barrier of tape to block the application of paint, resulting in crisp, clean, negative space. How it works. The painter's tape, or masking tape, acts as a resist material, adhering firmly to the paper. When you paint over it with watercolor, the tape prevents the pigment from soaking into the paper underneath. The result: once the paint is completely dry and the tape is carefully peeled away, the areas where the tape was placed remain the original white of the paper. This creates sharp, geometric patterns, like stripes, squares, or initials, defined by the vibrant watercolor surrounding them. It's a great technique for achieving hard, straight edges that can be difficult to create with freehand watercolor. Fingerprint art. This is a fun and simple method that turns a basic print into a complex illustration, leveraging the unique shape of a fingerprint as a foundation for a drawing. How it works. The primary step is creating a series of unique, small prints using an inked or painted fingertip. The natural oval shape and texture of the print become the main body or base of a character or object. The result? The addition of simple lines, dots, and details with a fine-tip pen or marker transforms the abstract prints into recognizable, often whimsical figures. This technique is especially popular for creating illustrated stories, invitations, or personalized greeting cards, as it combines the quick, organic look of the print with the precision of a drawing.
Simple shape scenery. This project focuses on simplification and graphic design to create a landscape. The goal is to represent a complex, real-world scene, like a mountain range, a seaside, or a city skyline, using only the most basic geometric shapes: triangles, squares, half circles, rectangles, and solid blocks of color. It's a fantastic exercise in abstraction. Selection. Choose a simple scene. For example, a mountain range uses triangles. An ocean view uses a half circle for the sun or horizon and a rectangle for the water. Or a cityscape uses squares and rectangles for buildings. Creation. Draw or cut out the basic shapes that represent the main elements. Sky might be a large rectangle. Mountains would be triangles. Sun-moon would be a circle or half circle. Coloring. Fill each shape with a single, solid, flat color. There are no gradients, shadows, or subtle blending. This creates a very bold, stylized, and graphic appearance, reminiscent of modern vector art or early computer graphics. The final result is a minimalist and striking piece of art that emphasizes shape and color, contrast over realistic detail. It's a great introduction to composition and the idea that simple forms can convey a powerful image. Salt and glue textures. This is a fun, science meets art project that explores the property of capillary action and texture. Core concept. The project combines the three-dimensional texture of salt with the spreading nature of liquid watercolor or diluted food coloring on a glue base. The dried glue acts as a barrier, holding the salted design in place. How it works. Drawing with glue. A design is drawn with white liquid glue on a stiff surface. The glue line needs to be thick enough to hold the salt. Salting. Before the glue dries, a generous amount of table salt is poured over the wet glue. The salt sticks to the glue, creating a rough, crystalline texture. The excess salt is shaken off, revealing the raised, salted design. Color application. Once the glue is completely dry, a small amount of liquid color is gently introduced to the salt. The salt acts like a collection of tiny connected tubes. The color rapidly wicks, or spreads, along the salt crystals due to capillary action and absorption. The look. The resulting texture is sparkly, crystallized, and highly tactile. The colors blend and bleed in beautiful, unpredictable ways along the salt lines, creating soft edges and vibrant concentrations of color that are difficult to achieve with a regular paintbrush. It's an easy way to create a unique, textured, and watercolor-like effect.